Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for our last winning Monday for the month of August. And time flies so fast that now we are going to enter September on Wednesday. So put in the chat box, what are some of the positive expectations that you're expecting for yourself and your business this week? Put yourself put on a chat box there right now. What are some of your expectations that you have positively that's going to happen for you or your business this week? Put them in the chat box right now. Let's start our day this week with some positive expectation that we want to have for our business. So what are some of your expectations that you have for your business this week? Put it in the chat box, right? More viewing and closing, awesome. What else? Get the deals go through, awesome. What else? What are some of the expectations that you have? Closings, awesome. What else? Come on, guys. What are some positive expectations that you're expecting from this week that you will get in your business and your life this week? Anyone else? Come on, only 4% has positive expectation. What happened? Hunt for desperate buyers. Awesome. Put on the hunting mode there. There you go. Thank you, Francis, for sharing. What else? What are some of the positive expectations that you have for your business and your life this week? Viewing and closing, be prepared. What else? Anyone else? What are some positive expectations? Viewing and closing, more busy and busier, right? Well, more busy and busier. Awesome. Signing SPAs. Awesome. What else? What are some other positive expectations that you have? Right. Well, last week, you expect to win. Awesome. Hope. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Last week, a group of us, I think close to almost 80 people from Malaysia, joined this annual event called Mega Camp that is normally held physically in Austin, Texas. And it was a feature of top producing agents and opportunity to learn about how can we grow our business. We had an action power pack week from Monday all the way until Thursday. And some of us didn't sleep the whole week. Some of us are having jet lag right now in our daily routine. In fact, on Saturday, I actually was so tired that I slept at around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, and I woke up at maybe about 10 o'clock. So I was having my own jet lag as I go through Mega Camp. But our goal today is to have some of our attendees for Mega Camp last week to kind of share a few thoughts and share some of their experiences. But what are the learning process, or what are some of the learning lessons that they had in this Mega Camp? So with me today, I have 3 guests. I'm very proud to have 3 guests that we stayed up all night chatting and having supper together virtually. So can I have them up on stage, please? I have Joanne Ong from Market Center 1. I have Timothy To from Market Center 1, and I have Yuan Ling from Market Center 2. So quickly, maybe y'all can go around the room and start introducing yourself. Maybe I will ask Yuan Ling first, because Yuan Ling has been featured once. I think this is the second time featuring her. So maybe Yuan Ling, you can quickly introduce yourself a little bit and tell us what you do and which market that you're serving right now. Go ahead.
Morning, everyone. Yuan Ling from Market Center 2. I have been in the real estate industry coming to the 4th year. I joined Redfield beginning of this year, focus on residential sub-sales market. Mainly will be on OUG and Sri Petaling area.
OUG Petaling. Okay, cool. Joanne, how about you? Just quickly introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, good morning. This is my 3rd year in the real estate business. So I joined KW in December 2020. So yes, I focus in Cheras area, and right now it's basically trying to look for another territory to go into next year. Yeah.
Right, awesome. Tim, what about you?
Hi guys, I'm Tim. I've been in the industry for close to 7 years, and it's actually my 1st year venturing into land. So I'm part of a team called LCI. We work mainly on primary projects and also sub-sales.
Right. So I will stay with Tim for a while for the first question. Tim, you've been to family reunion before in Dallas. You have experienced the live thing. It's of course very different from the virtual ones. But what are some of your expectations that you had in this Mega Camp and that you want to learn from this mega camp? What are some of the expectations that you set, and have you met those expectations?
Yeah, John, I think it was last year, right, that we went to.
Yes, 2020, correct.
Felt like 10 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, the expectation definitely it definitely met my expectation. I mean, to be very honest with you, last year I went with a mindset of I want to meet more people. I hope that they will bring people into our market and I want to close the deal with them. The expectation was just transactional, just basically that. But this year my mind went from, instead of me wanting to do business with you, I want to know how you actually do your business, and I want to get into that league, right? So that's a totally different perspective for me. I went there and it totally met my expectation. I attended so many breakouts, and the mega agents events are really off the roof.
Right. So you're saying that you went with a new mindset that I want to learn from the best. I want to learn from the top agents or the best leadership people in the organization from a global standpoint. What were one or two of the people that inspired the most during this mega camp?
I think definitely Gary inspires the most.
Right.
Michelle Van Poel also, she's pretty inspiring. Basically, right. Every one of them, because they have to hit a certain level of GCI to be able to be on the platform, right? It's not just average anyone. So basically, they all have a very big business.
Right. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Yuan Ling, how about you, Yuan Ling? What is some of the expectation that you had for this mega camp? And what are some of the things that you expect to learn? And maybe did you manage to meet the expectation?
Yeah, you actually meet my expectation. Before I joined, actually, I'm expecting that to learn how the mega agents run their business. So from during the sections that I will see that it's not only like the system that they are using, it's also a lot of like personality that they have, the values that they have, that how do they run their business. I will see that those mega agents that they do really go according to like KW's value that willing to share. So from there, during the sections, I will see that they're willing to let you know what kind of activities they are doing. Like they are sending those like personal returns letters. They will share that how do they work on it to get the trust from customers to build the connection. And I see agents is so willingly to share that like they are having such a big debt that they are able to clear it during their engagement on board with KW. So I see that this is something that is the value that I learned, that openly to share, let others to learn. It will also to help them to grow their business as well.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. How about you, Joanne? What's that? I know you attended, I think, virtual family reunion in February this year, right? And this is your second virtual event. Like, what's the expectation, right? Because you have been through one virtual, another virtual, and what's the differences that you've seen that you think has been a great, big improvement, and also something that you have learned?
I think for the difference I see between family reunion and mega camp is mega camp focuses a lot on the agent side, like personal agents that actually interview each and every one of them in their specific industry or specific division in their market center. So I thought that was really good. I think my expectation for mega camp was purely to actually just get some new inspiration. And at that time, we were on lockdown when the registration was open, right? So I thought, okay, why not just listen from other agents outside what they can do? But I think it turned out to be, while I was attending MegaCamp, I was actually looking at my own GPS, and I changed my GPS drastically while I was attending MegaCamp. So I think that was something that's unexpected to me. And I think by just literally listening to the stories as well as looking at my business, it's really good because I get to learn straight away. I'm just thinking of the plan to apply it on my business immediately. So yeah.
Right. Wow. So you said that you change your business plan, your GPS, for that short term or next 3-4 months. And then you and I had that conversation on WhatsApp as MegaCamp was going on, right? So can you share with us what was one session that, or what triggered you to change that? What triggered you to reset that? Or is there a specific session or specific speaker that shared something that changed the way you look at your business?
Yeah, I think just right before, because mega camp happens at night, right? So that's the time that we are actually, it is in the quiet time that we don't get any business calls and whatnot. It's just virtual events going on. So I was just looking at my current GPS and I felt that, okay, we only have 4 more months to go this year. What am I going to do? And I told John, I said, I'm actually quite happy with the things they are right now. If the year ends today, I would say, yeah, it's okay because I've hit my goal. But since I have that 4 months, how am I going to maximize that 4 months? So I think one of the session, the first day session, it was talking a lot about lead generation and listings, how mega agents get their listing, how they do lead generation. And I feel that actually whatever that mega camp agents or mega agents talk about, right, it's all back to MREA book. It's all bringing back to the basics. So I went back to MREA book, I read the chapter again and again and see what can I do. And I feel that it's, again, there's nothing fancy about it. It's just going back to lead generation if I want to double up my goal in these 3 months. So what I did was, I was actually quite contented, I think, but what Mega Camp actually inspires us is to actually think big, aim high, and act bold, right? So John was actually challenging me that instead of just being happy with the year, he actually wants me to achieve my 1-year goal in 3 months. So that it's, I was actually very scared, but if I think about it, if I'm not acting bold enough, it will not change my life. So my current GPS for my entire year, even though if I've hit it, it did not really transform my life or change my life. But if I can concise it, if I can hit it within 3 months, then yes, I would say that it has totally changed my life. It would change my assistant's life as well. And, the business will go to another level, which I have not imagined it to be, going to that direction. So, yeah.
Right. So just to be clear, you are about to hit your annual goal that you set beginning of this year already. You're going to hit that goal. You're very sure based on the deals that you have already. And now you are making a decision to double that up in the next 3 months. So in the next 3 months, you are going to achieve what you achieve in this whole year.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I'm just gonna do it. I've set it. I'm very clear with my GPS, my strategies, and it's literally just going back to lead generation. So I really just want to get that right. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for sharing. Right. Okay, Yuan Ling, how about you? What's that one session that you went through that you learned something and maybe caused you to change certain things or certain approach that you have, or you are maybe thinking about changing certain things in your business? What is that 1 or 2 sessions that you have that inspire you and why?
I attend a breakout section which is conducted by Jay Papasan and also Tiffany. It's a clear path to financial freedom. That section is really good. It actually teach me like how to analyze my net worth and also the burn rate. It is basically like a P&L of business, but it is a P&L of your own personal accounts. So from there, actually, you're able to find out like what is the financial freedom number that you need to achieve. So this one, it actually drives me back to look back into my GPS. So actually, I want to see that with the current spending rate that I have, how much that I need to achieve from financial freedom numbers, whether actually it matches to my GPS. So from there, actually, I identify what should I need to do in my coming 5 years GPS, how do I need to align it. So it's basically gives me a very good that I think initially I didn't expect that we have this kind of section that actually is teaching also on your own personal how do you plan your wealth. So from there is give me a very good insights that to do it further. So from there I have to really go to work, and actually like Joanne mentioned that it has to be bold to work on your GPS. You have to really focus and then to implement it.
Right. What is one good thing that you take back from the wealth planning thing? What is that one thought that you have that you are now working or thinking of working on it? What's that one thing? If I ask you, what's that one thing you have learned and you want to apply in that wealth planning, what would that be?
It will be the best thing is that I know that what will be the burn rate look like. So the financial freedom is something that the big why that I want to achieve. So actually it will be like I identify that it will be something that I want to make sure that I have enough fund to support my kids' education and my retirement fund. So from there that it actually drives me, this one will be something I really need to every day look on it and then to work consistently to achieve my financial goal.
Right. So you have a very strong clarity to put some numbers down.
Yep.
And you kind of have that number right now because of the sessions that you went through. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Tim, how about you, man? What's that one thing or one session that really inspired you, and who's the speaker and what you learned from that?
Actually, John, to be honest, every session is really inspiring. But if I were to say that one that's most applicable to me, right, that I really get it, is on leveraging, on expansion. Yeah, and what they say is that when you bring people into your life in a purposeful way, everything changes, right? And a lot of times we fall into, we look at the MREA book and we think that level 7 is better than level 6, level 6 is better than level 5. It doesn't mean that way. It doesn't mean that the more people you have, the better you are at, right? And we just remember that person, Stephanie Fitaco, I think her name, she did 200 transactions, 170 million in volume, and she's just a level 2, right? So, yeah, so and another thing is that I remember Gary said this, you gotta have a good business before you can expand. You can't expand poo-poo, right? Yeah, I think he's just being very nice. Basically, mean you can't expand shit, right? So you really gotta have a good business before you even start expanding it. So it really, because we are all real estate agents, we are all entrepreneurs at our heart, we tend to go too fast, right? I remember this session with Bob is that he used to be ready, fire, aim, but now it's ready, aim, fire. Right. So they went from, I think they went from 12 locations to 27, and then eventually he had to close all the offices down and then come back to 12 again. And that really got me thinking, am I ready for expansion? Am I taking it too fast?
Right. So setting the right foundation in your business is very important, right? Because if you don't know your numbers and you don't know how your GPS look like, how can we then plant people into our business when we don't even know what direction we are in? That's just an example, right? And what are some of the action steps that you have taken once you have learned that? What are some of the things that you are planning? I know you are a very go-getter, a very executing a person, right? What are you planning to execute or already executed after you have learned from the session?
I mean, when we all talk about leveraging in our mind at first, I remember they put this analogy into it that when we talk about leveraging in the real estate business, everyone is just very afraid about it. But when we think of our day-to-day lives, the amount of leverage that we put on people, the amount of money we pay people to get things done. I mean, I did not build my own house, right? Somebody built that. I did not build this light. I did not cut my own hair. We are all applying leveraging to a certain sense. And for me, it's really putting my whole business on the table and looking and breaking down into different sections and thinking of which activities actually generates me the least income per hour, and gradually removing myself from that piece of business so that I can go and do what's best for my business. And I also give someone an opportunity to come in and fill that space, right? The thinking is that you can eat a whole cake by yourself, or you can eat a really big slice of cake, right? And other people get to eat it as well. So everyone can live a big life by doing what you do best in whatever levels you are. You do yourself, right? You just be yourself, you do yourself. And another thing that really strikes me is that when I apply leverage, when I expand my business, I'm basically building a life big enough for other people to be in it as well.
Right. And I like it that you say you begin to look at all the activities and the tasks in your business, and you look at what's the least in terms of cost per hour. Because if you look at our business, this is something very important, and all agents should do this calculation, right? If you take your annual income, right, and you divide it into per hour in terms of working hours, 8 hours for 20 days a month, what's the cost per hour? So assuming I did this with one agent and the number is maybe $100 or $80 an hour or 150 ringgit an hour, and we were spent, and then that was a big aha, because the agent was spending time on things that she could easily pay someone 10 ringgit an hour or 20 ringgit an hour, because the cost per hour that you put in, it is so critical that you are putting in the right. Because if I'm being paid $180 per hour, then I should be spending on things that other people can't do. For example, having a relationship with my clients. For example, talking and consulting my owners, right? Those are the expensive stuff. Those are the precious things that I should be doing. And other things I should be looking at leveraging, because for 10, 20, 30 ringgit an hour, someone could be doing those work for me and for you, right? So that's a very big aha. So guys, if you go back and look at your business right now, study what's your annual income, break it down to an hourly income. What's that cost per hour that you are spending right now? Now, if you have earned your business to a certain level and your cost per hour is very high and you're still doing small things that you could pay someone 20, 30, 40 ringgit an hour to do, you are missing out on another piece of leverage that could give you back more time or give you more opportunity to make more money, right? So that's very important. Thank you for sharing that, Tim. I'll stay with you, Tim, for the next question. Like, let's talk a bit about disruption. There was like a huge conversation about disruption in the conversation, and I like it when Mark King and Jason and Bram show us that car, the Tesla thing, right? When you think about disruption, what are some of the ahas that you guys get? So maybe Tim, you can share that thought. What are some of the ahas you got from this disruption lesson that we had on the last day?
Yeah, no one would ever foresee that Elon Musk would, like, he could actually be one of the richest men in the world just for a period of time, right? And Tesla, they are not like those conventional cars resellers that they have thousands of acreage around the countries, and they're just a platform, right? And another thing that I took away is that if you don't constantly disrupt yourself, someone will eventually come in and disrupt your industry, which is what's happening right now, that you're talking all the time about what property group and property is doing currently in the market, right? And that's getting more and more realistic in our market today. And what really surprised me, amazed me, is that in our market, we are still talking about all the really, really basic things. Every agent is really talking about all of those things, but they're missing out on the big picture. They don't see that. They're so transactional based. They are so stuck. They're so working in their business, not working on their business, that they don't see all of these things coming. And potentially a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, I think, if this is happening. Right.
Thank you for sharing. How about you, Yuan Ling? What are some of the things when you think about disruption, that lesson that we went through? What are some of the thoughts that you have about the business in our business, your business, or real estate business in general? What are some of your thoughts?
From the discussion, I see that we have to really build our own skills strong, like knowledge, then how do we actually engage with customer. I think engage with customer will be one of the key things that you have to really build it to avoid disruption. I think from our market, we see a lot of new disruption coming up, like you have portal that owner can upload their own listing for rent. And all this will be actually, the owner is like, they are not willing to pay agents further from there. Whether will there be like, you can also do like in muda.com that you can just sell your listing as well. So I think all this will be something that if let's say you have a good relationship with your owner or your seller, that you will know that you're giving them value. So this will help you to manage those disruptive more solid, that you will able to come across those challenges from there.
Yeah. And I think the conversation talk a lot about back to basic is how can we be focusing on listings right now? How can we build relationships with our owners? And how can we use technology as well, right, to systematically relate back to our relationship, create relationships that's meaningful with our owners, right? So you're very spot on. And it's not complicated. It's just not complicated. It's just a shift of that mindset, right?
Yeah, right. Correct. Yeah, I think that's what you really need to do, like consistently, that you need to talk to your owners, your sellers. So I think the main key things is that you know that you have intentionally that what is the value that you're giving them. So let them know that they are paying you with the worth of value.
Right. And maintaining a certain value to make sure that you are not just to open a door, show houses and sell a house. It's just not like that anymore. It's more than that. What's the value that you can help them with? Thank you for sharing that. Joanne, how about you? When you talk about disruption, right? And the conversation was quite it was quite an active conversation about disruption. What were some of your thoughts?
I think disruption would always happen regardless whether we want it or not. Change is always going to happen. And I think what Gary Keller said is, but participation is optional. Whether or not we want to participate in that change is actually up to us. And I think how disruption would actually affect us, it's actually they are creating more values for consumers. So we as agent today, how are we going to add more values to customers? And that is what really matters at the end of the day. If we want to compete with anybody else, the big portals, the big players, or even fellow agents, right? It's really about how much values you can give to the customers. So what really provoked my thought, it's this statement that they say that you have to remargin your business every single day. So this is something that I've never thought about. I'm always very adamant on 3% exclusive, 3% exclusive, but it now challenged my mindset over that. Is it really important that the exclusive is for who, me or for the client? The 3% is for who? Am I creating enough value to justify that 3%? Who decides that? Who decides whether the 3%, is it justifiable? I don't think it's me anymore, but it's really about the customer. So all this is challenging my previous mindset, honestly. So I think right now it's important for me that I need to pick up the habit of looking at my P&L every single week. So this is something that we agents always neglect to do it. We don't like to look at our numbers. But so over Mega Camp, I actually tabulated my P&L. And I was shocked. I'm like, oh my gosh, actually cash flow is so important. And we often overlook that, just thinking that, I think I have enough for this month, but we just never look at the whole entire picture of our P&L. So, yeah.
Yeah, Yuching actually posted the quote on the chat box. Change is inevitable. Participation is optional, but eventually participation is going to be unavailable. Gary Keller quoted this. I think it was so powerful. He normally quoted the first 2 lines, but I think in this Mega Camp was the first time I hear him quoting the 3rd line. Eventually, participation is going to be unavailable. Yeah. And it's so true because I have the same thoughts that in our industry, I would think 40 to 50% of agents or rents in the market will be flushed out this season. I think so. I think they'll be flushed out because they're totally not prepared for what's going to happen or what's already happening in the market. And I think even as we were open to go and do viewing on Thursday and Fridays, right? We had 100 over appointments, 200 over appointments going out there. And there are some agents just starting to make the calls today. Right? So these are the examples of how that participation may be unavailable to some agents who didn't do it earlier, didn't do it faster. And Joe, thank you for joining. Thank you for showing up and sharing with us how important is this to reprice and remargin our business.
Yeah.
Because that is something that sometimes we don't talk enough about. Where if you want to go into the market and show value, price is always another conversation that you can have. And there will be always someone willing to drop price.
Yeah.
Because in the absence of value, price is the only conversation. But if you put value and price together as 2 conversations, and if you can win market share by dropping price and giving more value, why not?
Yeah.
So that's really very powerful when we think about our business. So if you go around, you go to your neighborhood today, and I'm not asking all of us to drop price. I'm not saying that, but I want you to think about how can I win market share that my competitor cannot beat me? Offering better value, better price. It's assuming today in that whole neighborhood, 100% listing now is belong to you exclusively, and the value you charge back to the owner is 1.5%. Are you going to make more money than your competitors? Right. So I'm not asking you to drop price, but I ask you to think about how to win market share. Because at the end of the day, what should matter is the profit in your business. Right. So I think that's something that I think Joanne was bringing out. That's a very powerful thing. Right. Very powerful thing. Maybe Joanne, I'll stay with you for the next question. What is that mindset shift that you have had coming in? Maybe were there any limiting beliefs that you had before Mega Camp and after Mega Camp? Would you want to share that?
Yeah, I think the limiting belief is I always think that, okay, as long as I have hit my goal, I'm quite happy in the beginning of the year. But I realized that my goal wasn't big enough. So that was my limiting belief, because I feel that in this kind of pandemic, I feel, capping it's enough. I should be really happy. It's true. Yes, I'm very thankful, but I realized that it's just not big enough. I think just want to write on where team shares is whatever that we do, our business should be big enough that everyone can actually take a pie, a share on this pie. And I feel that I'm not building the cake big enough. So it's like, you know, by just me enjoying the cake, I feel that that joy, it's not there. I don't think that it has really changed my life, or it can reach to the path of financial freedom, let's say in 5 to 10 years time. It will not. And I feel that what actually changed me is I really want to think a lot bigger now and really start to act boldly on that. So yeah.
Right. So thinking bigger and building a bigger business or building a bigger world so that more people can fit in. But
Correct.
sometimes people have this misconception. If I think of too much goals and too much bigger vision, I have to do more work.
Yeah, it's true. I don't think you can, you know, like if you work less, you will earn less. I think that is just a very, very, like what you always say, real estate business is actually a very, very simple business. You know, we don't have to complicate things. The whole Gary Keller, the triangle model, listing, leverage, and leads, it's just there. It's just a very, very, very basic. But how do we feel it to be big? Then it's really up to us on how much effort we want to put in it. Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it may not be forever that you have to do a lot. It's about thinking big, building big, but bringing the right talent into your business.
Correct.
To support you in your business so that eventually you get back that time.
Yeah.
Difficult in the beginning, but eventually you should get back your time.
Yeah. And I think it's just being challenged to grow further, grow bigger, grow deeper. But if you are very comfortable, then that's it. Our income also will be like that. We're very comfortable and stable, but it's not going to be growing exponentially. Yeah.
Right. So it's, and I think Gary always says this, right? The extent of the growth of your business is determined by the extent of your personal growth. Your income is determined by the growth of your personal development. Right, that's really the truth there, right? Because if you cannot see yourself building it bigger, you cannot see yourself wider than that. That's the limitation that you always be, and it's always a constant dynamic progression. If there's no progress, then the income will always stay. It may even drop, right? Because someone has progressed better than us, right? Thank you for sharing. Yuan Ling, how about you? What are some of the mindsets that you have changed in this season when you have went through Mega Camp?
I'm working as a solo agent. So building a team or also possibly like engage somebody to work for me is not in my planning. So, but when I see during those mega camp that those mega agents did, they are also a solo agent. But what do they do is that they do employ assistants to help them out for certain tasks. That it help them to grow their business. I'm very amazing that like those solo agents can do 100 transactions, 200 transactions per year. I was keep on calculating how to do 100 transactions for a solo agent. In 1 year, it's like almost one month you're doing 10 transactions. I think if let's say I can doing like 3 to 5 transactions per month, it's my next cap, I would say. So it is that how do they leverage the others in the system and also other persons to help them to grow business. This is something I think it will actually open up my mind to consider how do I need to work on this path.
Wow. So you change your mindset in your idea of solo agent is no longer one agent. It's you and potentially leveraging on other people to do certain work for you so that you can increase that transaction of 100 transactions a year, right? So that's a vision that you set yourself, seeing yourself wanting to do, and your mindset that you shift. How easy is it to shift this mindset? Right? Can you just share, like, I know it's still a challenge to think like that, right?
But
it's still a challenge. Like, what are you doing about it right now?
I actually want to see that, like if let's say like checking through like maybe like putting up on listing or doing some cold calls, whether this kind of activities that I can get somebody else to help me to work on that. Because I think building the database and the relationship, it will be the key things that I really have to build for lead generation for my business. So I think that the activities of cold call, probably like updating the listing, then possible it will be able to pass to somebody who could help on that.
Right. So you're already figuring out what are the 2-3 tasks that you can leverage already. You are thinking that way already. That's very good. Because then you can focus on things that matter, and the things that don't matter, that matters, but someone else can do 3 times more than you, or they like to do that more than you, right? Which is normally agents don't like to do all these things, right?
Yeah,
Right?
I
We
don't
like
like
to
to
go
do
out,
cold
we like
call.
to do all this, right? Don't like to call people. We don't like to, we only like to call people that want to buy today one. That
Yes,
one we will call.
correct.
But the one to build relationship and all that, right? It's a very strong challenge. I know I've been there before, done that before. I understand what you mean. But having that mindset and saying that, hey, this is the task that if someone is calling 100 people on my behalf, setting up appointments for me, managing my database, that making sure my listings are updated on a daily basis, how would my business look better, right? I will guarantee you that it will definitely look better, right? Thank you for sharing that, Yuan. How about you, Tim? What are some of the things, some of the mindset shift that you had?
A lot again. The first thing that came across my mind was I wanted to ask that question that day in the chat room. How much does the top agents in Malaysia make? I really wanted to ask that. Right, and I remember Gary said that a lot of agents enter into the business asking him these questions. How much does the average real estate agent makes in the US? And his response to that is that, why? Do you want to be average? Are you average? Do you want to live in an average home? Do you want to get the average income? Do you want to have the average American holidays? Right, and if you don't want that, you shouldn't be asking questions like that. You should be asking how much the top agents in your market, how much are they making, right? And that's the first thing. And the second thing was that leads was the concept about lead generation. I remember also Gary said that when he was teaching new agents, when they just joined the industry, he asked a very pretty simple question. How many of you would like to know all of the buyers and sellers in your market? And everyone, being new and naive, raised a hand. And he reached out to his desk and he pulled out a phone book and he said that everyone is here. So in doubt, right, starts with A, and eventually when you reach C, you probably end up with a deal, right? And a lot of times I'm not talking about leveraging and all, I'm talking about us not doing it. A lot of times we spend our whole entire career avoiding what's needed to be done. And the bigger aha is that a lot of people spend their entire life avoiding life. Yeah.
That's
really
a big aha. That's a very big aha. And I think to follow up with your first point, I think most agents who sells a lot of property, right, may not know what's their profit margin. We think that we sell a lot of houses, we sell a lot of properties, right? But they don't know what's their profit that year. They really don't know the profit level, and they don't know how much money they've spent. They don't know their financial numbers, and so many of my friends, and sometimes including myself in my past, where easy money come, easy money go, right? So that's also one issue that I think we need to think about when we want to ask an agent who's good and who is profitable, who is consistently profitable. I think that's the model that we want to become. A consistent, profitable, producing agents. You have to produce and also must be profitable, because you can still produce and be not profitable.
Right. I remember, I think it was quite long ago. I can't exactly remember when, but last year there was this time that I managed to enter into the Gary Keller's mastermind session, 200
Right.
agents. Yeah, and I remember Lance Loken was there. He was sharing that when his business grew, his expenses caught up so quickly that there were no profits at all. And he had to sit down and just relook at the whole thing. Right. Sometimes we were making more and more, but we are paying out so much that there's no profit left. Right. So that's something to think about as well.
Right. And I like it that you talk about the lead generation thing, because that's our number one job. That's really an agent's number one job. That's our number one career, and anything else, because lead generation is something that is so simple, but yet so difficult. And there's so many courses out there, guys. There's so many gurus out there, right? Beware, there are a lot of online gurus out there. Don't call clients anymore. Avoid lead generation. These are the old ways. Let's try the new ways. Actually, there's no new way one. It's all relationship, it's all contact sports, right? Real estate is a contact sports, right? So whenever you go through some training who is trying to ask you to avoid what's important in your business, I will ask you to run away, because that's not the way. Maybe they can help you to do it more effectively, more efficiently, much better. But if they say that, hey, lead generation outdated, I'm sorry, but lead generation, it's relevant. It's still relevant until today, because without that, I think business is really, really going down the drain. I want to switch gears a little bit. I want to ask all of you this question. And I'm going to move on a little bit with the disruption conversation we had just now about technology. Now, you all saw some of the launches that we have in technology on the last day, right? What are some of your thoughts? Be open to share what you think about the technology that we are in, that we are about to launch. What are some of your ahas, or maybe some of your excitement that you can see from the technology launches that we have during MegaCamp? Maybe Yuan Ling, I'll start with you first.
From there, I see that I think the mobile apps, I think will be something that I look forward. It actually will help that we can actually on the go more, that we can update, and then we can use as a command. That now I feel the difficulties is like command sometimes that you have to do on that base. So if let's say with the mobile apps, that we will be able to help you, so that more actively that you can use that and get into the system. The simple rules, I think that is continuously to follow those like system that we have that we implement into database. And the smart plan, I think it will really help us to grow our business from there.
Right. So you're excited, and you saw command for mobile app coming soon, right? You're excited because that's easy to use and it's more relevant, and don't have to carry laptops everywhere we go, right? So it's everything on mobile. So thank you for sharing that. Joanne, how about you? What's the one thing you saw about technology that you were excited?
Yeah, I think I'm really excited about the KW app as well for agent, and imagine that the consumer can actually have access to all our listings, including our fellow agents in KW Malaysia. So I thought that was pretty cool. And it again brings back to the point that it's really about creating values and creating a very easy, user-friendly experience for the consumer. Basically going directly to them. So I thought that was quite mind-blowing to me. Yeah.
Right. How about you, Tim? What is the one thing you saw in technology that helped you or give you some aha moments?
I like that regardless, however the tech evolves, KW always strives to put the agent in the center of the transaction. We are always in the transaction, and really think of everything that's in command, right? Is really removing you from all these low income activities so that you can go and do what's best for your business.
Yeah.
Right. You saw that. So for some of us who are wondering what you're talking about, because you didn't see that in MegaCamp, we had an unveiling of some new technology application that will be coming our way very soon. So stay tuned as we announce some of this stuff as we move on towards the coming weeks and months. I think our consumer application will be, and our consumer websites will be coming soon, very soon, in this next couple of weeks. Hopefully very soon you will be able to see command for mobile being released outside of US, together with US somewhere in the next couple of months as well. And there are many, many more things as we saw in what do you call that, MegaCamp, that is really exciting. Okay, I want to change that last conversation, to focus on leadership, right? I think in my experience in all the events that I went through in Keller Williams from 2019, when I went to my first family reunion in New Orleans, until now, I felt that this MegaCamp had a display and a show of strong and clear leadership. It helped us understand. It helped me have better perspective of how a leader should show up and all that. How do you all feel about the total leadership in the whole organization, from our mother company KWX, and also KWRI and all that? What are some of your thoughts and ahas when you look at the display of leadership that we have during the whole MegaCamp? Maybe I'll pass the time to Joanne to talk about that first.
Okay. Wow. I think what I realized after attending family reunion as well as MegaCamp this year, it's the value and the culture that is so strong and so evident in the real estate industry in US and even globally. And the people that are running it, they are just so talented and so full of vision. So I think it's very rare to get visionary leaders to run a cause for a company, right? But I feel that in KW, I really have seen like the people that's championing different things in the company, it's like so talented, so inspirational, so inspiring. They're all so visionary. And I think that is something that we don't see very often in the Malaysia local market. And I think it's an honor and a privilege to be in a company that we can, even though they seem to be like so far away, it may not directly affect my business in terms of transactional or whatnot, but it's just so good. And I don't know, the positive vibes that we get from these leaders actually do help us, you know, in just different aspect of our life, in personally as well as, I think, yeah.
Right. Was there any leader that you saw on stage that day during the whole event that stood up for you and inspired you to like becoming like a sort of like a role model for you in certain areas of your life or business? Were there anyone like that?
Not exactly, but I always like Wendy Papasan and Jay Papasan. I think I really like how I'm trying to learn the whole wealth building journey like Yuan Ling as well. You know, I listen to the podcast and start to read a Millionaire Real Estate Investor book and all these things. So I feel that because there's so few people in Malaysia that teach us about money, what is money, you know, how can you do with money and all these things. Yes, a lot of financial gurus out there, but it is just so different by listening to them. They are more practical. It's not so much about that materialism and the consumption of money, but it's about building that wealth. And I think that is so much more valuable than apart from teaching you about real estate business. Yeah.
Right. So Wendy Papasan, Jay Papasan, right? So
yeah.
Good. They actually have what we call every year, and they go for a weekend, a couples retreat.
A couples retreat, yeah.
Yeah, and they sit down and they work out their financial planning and all that, right? So that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you could see some of this in the One Thing podcast where they will talk a lot about it, right? Right. Yuan Ling, how about you? What are some of the leadership things that you've seen in our organization in the US that you saw that was inspiring and that you think that this is good leadership?
A lot from there. It's inspired that I see how the personality that they have. Like I see some of the agents that we have a section about the KW Cultural Summit. So I saw agents that are so willing to help the communities, like Chris is helping a Down syndrome kids that I think you have also showcased that how to actually get the Ironman awards in the sections. And the other agent shows that how they actually work on to help the frontliners to provide foods during one of the disaster. So I see all this is like the inspiration. It's not only doing business, this is also the personality that they're willing to share, willing to cultivate the inspirations to others, help others to grow their business as well, and also to grow the personality. This is something that I see that is really hardly that we see in Malaysia. Mostly what we see is that we have a lot is that we are helping, it's more on the education that how do you do your business. But it's not on your overall, your wealth, your personality, and the culture that you want to implement. With the culture, I think it's also not only for ourselves, it's also for our younger generations that it will actually help them to grow as well.
Right, very good. And I think I agree with you because we saw such a good story of how some advocate for women, some advocate for the less fortunate, some create food banks to help others. And these are all individual agents that took the lead in their communities to serve the communities as well. And I think it all came back from the whole culture of this company is to really serve communities, really to treat each other, how we treat each other, right? And I like it when Mo Anderson say this, right? The definition of culture is how we treat one another. That's really culture, right? And that's the leadership level that is enhancing and keeping to maintain that standard of treating each other in a better way. So thank you for sharing that. Tim, how about you? What are some of your lessons about leadership that you learned this round as you've seen such a heavy lineup of new leadership coming into the organization?
Yeah, just to add on what Joanne said earlier, right? Like about wealth, I like that they're not just talking about money, but like who you become in that entire journey, so that you can eventually contain that wealth and you can eventually continue to scale that to greater heights, right? And that's the first thing. The second is Gary and they are so visionary, but they can break it down so that people like us can understand it. They didn't go so far ahead and that they finished the conversation and you went like, wow, they're so great. What did they talk about? I don't really understand, but they sound good. But they really make it so relatable. And unlike another thing is that everyone is speaking the same language in the entire organization. Everyone is talking about the same thing, right? And leadership is really about self-leadership. And they're really doing everything that they talk about. James Shaw getting on that call, I don't know, 6:30 or 8:30 a.m. every single day for the past, 1.5 years or something like that. Yeah, talking about accountability. Man, he's the one that's doing it. He's still doing it, right?
Right. So it's about leadership by example. And I truly agree with you. In my journey of learning to get to know some of these leaders, being in Gary Keller's private sessions, I can see that they are walking the talk. If they want to teach someone something new or they want to do something, they themselves first do it. They earn the right by doing it first. And telling people lead generation important because Gary will get on the call and recruit agents. He will tell you what he does. He'll tell you get on the call and speak to a number of agents to recruit. That's his lead generation, right? You hear Nick Walkner getting on the phone, calling people and making sure that he's doing lead generation as well. He's doing his 555 every day. So these are great leadership. Leaderships exist because one of the first key thing about leadership that I learned in KW is it's all about leading by example. It's all about showing up. It's all about doing what you say you would do so that you can influence others to do what they say they will do, right? So thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, guys, how many of you are learning something from this session today? If you are learning something, please share your ahas on the chat box. How many of you are energized during this conversation? If you are, please share your ahas on the chat box because we have almost 160 old people here and about 20 people in workplace, about 180 in total. What are some of the ahas that you are getting from this session today? Put in the chat box right now, guys. Put in the chat box. What are some of the ahas that you're getting from this session today? Anyone? While we are waiting for the ahas, Marcus, can I have the announcement, please? So guys, stay back for a while. I want to ask you for your last thoughts, but can I have the announcement, please? So anyone, any ahas, please put in the chat box right now, guys. What are the ahas that you have? Right. Okay, so just some announcements on Wednesday. It's our 2 years anniversary as KW Malaysia. It was born on the 1st of September. So please do join us. I know everyone is busy to go back to their business and all that, but I would ask that you join us for this 1 hour and 15 minutes. It's a fun thing. It's a very, very fun thing, right? It's a very, very fun event. We're going to have some special mystery guests. They'll be joining us all the way from the US and Canada as well. So do join us for this session on Wednesday. It's an internal agent and staff only. It's not going to be live on YouTube. You can't watch this again. So do join us for this session this Wednesday to celebrate together our 2 years anniversary as KW Malaysia. Next slide, please. Right. We have about 20 or 46 spotlights last week. So highly encourage everyone, if you don't know much about this, please talk to your market center support. Putting your listing on spotlight right now is the best time as we are able to go back out into the market. This is one effective way that potentially can help you put your listings in the right place to have about 80,000 subscribers watching your listings, right? Next slide, please. All right. We are having that competition, and I want to share with you the competition of the featured credit competition, right? This is the leaderboard that we are having right now. Next slide, please. We have changed the people on the leaderboard. Over last week, Cassidy Lu, Agnes Aloysius, and Jimmy Ng has taken over the leaderboard and becoming the top 3. So congratulations, Cassidy, Agnes, and Jimmy. You have not won yet, but you are now ahead of the rest of all of us, right? So guys, if you are watching this, get on the leaderboard and feature as many listings as you can on HProp so that you will win 500 extra credit. And also, if you can help us hit our goal as a company to earn back 20% of the feature credit that you all have spent, right? Next slide, please. So we are about 1,000 listings, 1,000 feature credits listings as of now. So we need another 1,931 feature credits by end of September for us to win this competition as a company with the age. So this is a challenge that we have. So I encourage everyone to put all their listings up featured right now. As we are opening back the markets, this is the best time and the right time to do this, okay? Next slide, please. Right, so for those who are interested in the e-medical pass insurance by Etika, do click on the link on the chat box to find out more. We have a lot of positive vibes and positive reviews about this product that we are partnering with Etika Maybank Insurance to bring good value to you, right? So that's one benefit that you have by being part of KW Malaysia. Next slide, please. Right, so touch points are still coming. I don't know about you, but I love the touch points that was showing last week, right? Especially the top 10 things to do when selling your home. Number one, call me, because you will handle the rest of the 9. So that's a very, very cheesy and a very, very good touch point. So do look out for all our new touch points on Thursday to keep talking to your clients via touch points. So all these conversations, communication on WhatsApp, emails are all very useful. And these tools are created for you so that you can reach out to your consumer as much as you can. Next slide, please. Right, okay, so there are so many ahas going on in the chat room. There is someone's putting mindset shift, lead gen. We are in the lead gen business. I like what Jean says, never ask how much an average agent, but ask how much a top producing agent earns, because that's the model you want to follow. Don't become the average agent, because no point being average, better become top producer, right? Focus on the right models, right? What else? Someone shared this. Disruption will come and go, but we will change to the time, right? Build great business relationship and add value to client. Be the best. P&L. Someone was sharing something very interesting just now. I think it was Jonathan. How can I deliver what people want in a different way? These adaptable people will survive and thrive. So how can you deliver better value in a different way that will reach out to your clients? Very good. Okay, before we close, maybe we will ask for some last thoughts. Yuan, Ling, what are some of your last thoughts or last advice to our audience here today?
I would say that we have the system and tools in ready. Just do it. I think it will be something that will help us to reach our goal. Don't have to be complicated. We just say that just follow and do it.
Right. How about you, Tim? What's your last advice for us here today?
I remember Gary said that the more things changed, the more they stay the same, right? And really just go find the people who have already done what you've wanted to do and just copy them.
Thank you very much. Awesome. So you'll call Tim after this, okay? Then you will just copy him, okay? So Joanne, go ahead. What's your last advice for all of us?
I think we have to just make full use of the remaining 4 months well. I think that is still something that I would emphasize on. Market is already open. It's up to you whether you want to win the market or not. The choice is in your hands, basically, whether you want to work it out or not. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, guys. Guys, if you have learned something from all our speakers here today, please express your gratitude on the chat box to them. Let them know that whatever they have shared, whatever they're prepared to share with you this morning has impacted you. So please put that in the chat box so that they all can see that you have inspired them and you have added value. They have added value to your business and your life. So please express your gratitude on the chat box. With that, thank you, Timothy, Yuan, Ling, and Joanne for taking time with your business and sharing so much insights and openness in about your own journey as well and being authentic. So thank you so much. For the rest of you, thank you so much, guys. I hope this has set you up for success for this week in our Winning Mondays. I hope that this Merdeka celebration will be a very different and meaningful Merdeka celebration for all of us, that we will be free from our past but move forward in our future in such winning attitude. So thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of the week. Thank you all. Have a good one. See you guys in the next session. Thank you. Bye.